Let's have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined, with all the treasure of the earth, our own excepted, in their military chest, with a Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio, or make a track on the Blue Ridge, in a trial of 1,000 years. I want it said of me by those who knew me best, that I always plucked a thistle and planted a flower where I thought a flower would grow. Important principles may, and must, be inflexible. I don't know who my grandfather was. I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. My father, removed from Kentucky to Indiana, in my 8th year. It was a wild region, with many bears and other wild animals still in the woods. There I grew up. Of course, when I came of age, I did not know much. Still somehow, I could read, write, and cipher, but that was all. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him work diligently and build one for himself, thus by example assuring that his own shall be safe from violence when built. A man watches his pear tree day after day, impatient for the ripening of the fruit. Let him attempt to force the process, and he may spoil both fruit and tree. But let him patiently wait, and the ripe pear at length falls into his lap. When I hear a man preach, I like to see him act as if he were fighting bees. The highest art is always the most religious, and the greatest artist is always a devout person. I pass my life in preventing the storm from blowing down the tent, and I drive in the pegs as fast as they are pulled up. Common-looking people are the best in the world. That is the reason the Lord makes so many of them. I can make more generals, but horses cost money. If once you forfeit the confidence of your fellow citizens, you can never regain their respect and esteem. I go for all sharing the privileges of the government, who assist in bearing its burdens. Consequently, I go for admitting all whites to the right of suffrage, who pay taxes or bear arms, by no means excluding females. With the fearful strain that is on me night and day, if I did not laugh I should die. The leading rule for the lawyer, as for the man of every calling, is diligence. If I were to try to read, much less answer, all the attacks made on me, this shop might as well be closed for any other business. Surely God would not have created such a being as man, with an ability to grasp the infinite, to exist only for a day. No, no, man was made for immortality. The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is the man who'll get me a book I ain't read. Any people anywhere, being inclined and having the power, have the right to rise up, and shake off the existing government, and form a new one that suits them better. This is a most valuable, a most sacred right, a right, which we hope and believe, is to liberate the world. These capitalists generally act harmoniously and in concert to fleece the people, and now that they have got into a quarrel with themselves, we are called upon to appropriate the people's money to settle the quarrel. Tact is the ability to describe others as they see themselves. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and to the young, it comes with bitterest agony because it takes them unawares. I have had experience enough to know what I say. I am rather inclined to silence. When you have got an elephant by the hind legs and he is trying to run away, it's best to let him run. Everybody likes a compliment. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. Ballots are the rightful and peaceful successors to bullets. We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. The time comes upon every public man when it is best for him to keep his lips closed. As our case is new, we must think and act anew. True patriotism is better than the wrong kind of piety. I know that the Lord is always on the side of the right, but it is my constant anxiety and prayer that I and this nation may be on the Lord's side. Knavery and flattery are blood relations. Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution. That must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberties. Republicans are for both the man and the dollar, but in case of conflict the man before the dollar. To give victory to the right, not bloody bullets, but peaceful ballots only, are necessary. Never stir up litigation. A worse man can scarcely be found than one who does this. If a man had more than one life, I think a little hanging would not hurt this one, but after he is once dead, we cannot bring him back, no matter how sorry we may be, so the boy shall be pardoned. That I am not a member of any Christian church is true, but I have never denied the truth of the scriptures, and I have never spoken with intentional disrespect of religion in general, or of any denomination of Christians in particular. I should like to know if, taking this old Declaration of Independence, which declares that all men are equal upon principle, you begin making exceptions to it, where will you stop? If one man says it does not mean a Negro, why not another say it does not mean some other man? Stand with anybody that stands right, stand with him while he is right and part with him when he goes wrong. I never had a policy, I have just tried to do my very best each and every day. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. If there is anything that a man can do well, I say let him do it. Give him a chance. What kills a skunk is the publicity it gives itself. Hold on with a bulldog grip, and chew and choke as much as possible. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. I have great respect for the semicolon, it is a mighty handy little fellow. My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union, and is not either to save or to destroy slavery. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it, and if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that. Don't swap horses in crossing a stream. There is no grievance that is a fit object of redress by mob law. When I am getting ready to reason with a man, I spend 1/3 of my time thinking about myself and what I am going to say, and 2/3 about him and what he is going to say. In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free, honorable alike in that we give and what we preserve. We shall nobly save, or meanly lose, the last best hope of earth. I was born and have ever remained in the most humble walks of life. There is another old poet whose name I do not now remember who said, "Truth is the daughter of time." I desire so to conduct the affairs of this administration that if at the end I have lost every other friend on earth, I shall at least have one friend left, and that friend shall be down inside of me. No policy that does not rest upon some philosophical public opinion can be permanently maintained. It was that which gave promise that in due time the weights should be lifted from the shoulders of all men, and that all should have an equal chance. This is the sentiment embodied in that Declaration of Independence.